Hello everyone, this is going to be a commentary playthrough of Autophagy, which came out 1 year ago, so figured I would play through it. I've been talking about it a little bit more recently, you know, because it's pretty cool. And I posted the final version, I believe, the last week of April 2023. This is my first Megawatt. Kind of just playing and talking kind of randomly. I'll talk about certain features of the levels when I want to, but this is, you know, just free form as with most of my videos. I don't like scripting and I'm bad at it, so I had never made a Megawatt before. I have made a lot of levels over the course of many years. I started doing Doom level design when I was probably sometime in elementary school, maybe like 7 or 8. But I didn't publish anything for multiple years because, you know, I was always afraid of what people would say. And even when I did start publishing levels, I never actually ended up making a Megawatt until very recently. Over the last couple of years, I've kind of had a little bit of a resurgence with playing Doom here. And that's involved making levels that, you know, I wish I would have made 10 years ago, or I wish I would have posted 10 years ago. A lot of the kind of themes in Autophagy are things that, you know, not only are they taken from older WADs, you know, like some of the direct inspirations were Demon Fear, Scythe, or Evolution, but also a lot of concepts and ideas I had when I was very young. Things that I should have posted 20 years ago, but I didn't because I was nervous. Here we have the intermission MIDI, which is the Better Call Saul MIDI-fied version. I was watching a lot of Better Call Saul last year. Fun trivia fact, I watched the entire series on mushrooms, so it took me a couple of months, but let me tell you, absolute cinema. And the first couple of levels here are levels where, if you notice in the first map, I could rewind and show that to you. I am playing this live, by the way. But if you notice in the first map, there were shotgunners, but they were like kind of up on a little pedestal. You couldn't get them. I do have I do have monsters that drop shotguns, but you can't get the shotguns, and that's one thing I really enjoy. I wanted the first couple of levels here to be kind of like short, punchy, quick. And also I really love that kind of like there's a secret on the first map that has a box of rockets that comes in handy later. Here we have more shotgunners. I really enjoy the shotgunners that you can't actually get their shotgun, because that was the thing, is like, you know, it's a little too easy if it's just imps and former humans. So I wanted to add the shotgunners, but you had to add them in a little bit of an interesting way for it to be good. I'm not going to be doing a max run here or necessarily a speed run. I'm not going to be doing tricks. Maybe I'll do a couple tricks here. I'm kind of just playing through. It shouldn't take that long. This is a pretty short one. I will do 2 of the secret levels. I will save map 33 for its own video, I think. If anyone wants to see map 33, post in the comment section. And if you don't know why that would be something I would want you to post about, then play it for yourself. I should also say, I would really recommend and or enjoy if you played this for yourself before watching this. You know, we're only 3 maps in here. But if this is something that would interest you, it's not that long. There is a UV Max speedrun, I believe, by Rev'd, which is like, I think it's just over an hour. I don't remember the time off the top of my head, but I think it's like an hour and 15 minutes or so. So it's a really short run, or really short set here. So here we get the shotgun, and I immediately have a chain gunner out of bounds, so you can't get the chain gun. Now that you've got the shotgun, now that we have that out of the way, then there's the chain gunners. That's the only time. Actually, no, there's a couple more chain gunners that are a little out of bounds, unreachable. But I don't know how many people notice that, but it's something I like. And this level is very heavily inspired by like Scythe map 4. This is also a map 4. You know, there's a lot of that. I was last year I was like kind of the, you know, in 2022 I kind of got back into Doom speedrunning, but in 2023 I kind of got back into making levels. I made a couple of stuff in 2022, but I made a lot of maps in 2023. I think I ended up making like well over 100 levels across different projects last year, and I haven't really published anything this year, but you know, I do have some stuff cooking up here, so don't you worry about it. But I have the music here is, a lot of the music for this WOD is ripped from the iWods. And then I also sprinkled in some of the unused music that was also written at the same time as Doom 1 and 2 by Robert Prince. So I tried to have that like classic feel to it. It's almost all Robert Prince, but there is a couple of Evolution songs in there. You got to throw that in. Yeah. Once again, this is my first Megawad. It's funny because just to give a little behind the scenes, I do have like 2 more Megawads that I started another one and posted a demo set of it last year. It's called Plutorium. I have been working on finishing that, but I also have another Megawad I've been working on as well. But it's just I've been a little bit slower lately because I've been focusing more on speedruns. And, the way my hyperfixations work is, when I'm really interested in levels, I'll just sit there all day and do that. But when I'm not, it's hard to actually touch it. So I'd kind of just wait until I'm in the mood. But yeah, this first episode here, I should also just give some random trivia. The whole WOD I made in 12 days. From start to finish. This was also, I was initially testing it for vanilla compatibility as opposed to limit removing, but then I realized how ridiculous that was, and I didn't want to spend that much time. After the set is done, for me, it's one of those things that, once it's done, I want to finish it. I want to have 1.0 out as soon as possible, because I want to do speedruns of it. I want other people to do speedruns of it. And that is a philosophy that a lot of WOD makers don't do. A lot of WOD makers like to post, and I'm not criticizing, by the way. I'm just juxtaposing here. A lot of people will post a WOD and then it's in release candidate form for 17 years. The 1.0 version will be ready 7 years after the fucking, look to back to Saturn X or some shit for an absurd example. But for me, once I finish map 30 or whatever the final level is that I'm working on, I want to have 1.0 done as soon as possible. So I will spend literally entire days playing through the WOD 15 times myself just to make sure it's rock solid. And if there is a glitch that's discovered, this is another thing for me as a speedrunner that carries with me to making games or whatever, or mods for games and that kind of stuff, is that if there's a glitch, if there's a skip, if there's something broken about it, as long as it doesn't, in Doom WODs you can't it's not like you can format your computer with a Doom map or something, but as long as it doesn't break completely in any way, I love leaving stuff like that in, because to me glitches are a part of the charm of video games. And especially when it's something like Doom, I'm not here to be immersed, whoa, dude, I'm actually there. I'm just here to shoot some guys and enjoy some music and run through some mazes, So when there's a glitch or something that's discovered or a skip, I love leaving that stuff in. So a little bit of more trivia for my kind of philosophy of level design. We have a secret, These chain gunners are also caged. But now there's a secret that allows you to get them, and I really enjoyed this because I like having that kind of teasing of new weapons, especially because we're on level 6 here, and we got the rocket launcher before the chain gun even, but that's also a secret. If you notice, there's a second line def here. So I wanted to make it so you can't just grab the chain gun through the fence. So I have a monster block here so that they're slightly too far away. So you do end up needing to have the secret to actually get the chain gun. So that's right. One thing about also being a Doom speedrunner is I know all the quirks of the engine. I don't know if I know all of them, but I know enough to be able to design around them for those tricky, pesky breakers that want to destroy my flow. But yeah, episode 1 of Autophagy is very tech-basy Doom 1 kind of vibe going on here. And if I ever do make an Autophagy 2, I probably would not follow the same formula for episodes, but maybe I would, I'm not sure. But the thing about Autophagy is I wanted it to be very, very much so stuff you've already seen. The name Autophagy, I know a lot of people that play Doom aren't necessarily into science, but autophagy is a term, a biological term that refers to cells eating dead cells. So it's called cell recycling. you know, you don't need those dead cells anymore, but we can reuse some of the parts, you know, like hop on in there, grab the mitochondria, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the theme of this, is that it's a recycling of old themes. So I don't know how many people picked up on that, but there you go, just spoiling my my high IQ thematic presentation here. One thing I noticed, a lot of people have streamed Autophagy in the last year, and I noticed a lot of people don't know how to say the word. Some of my favorite mispronunciations are Autophagy, Autophagy. I like Autophagy, you know, when it's actually how it's pronounced. And there's another one that I saw one streamer say. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was like bafflingly. Because I also had like a European accent, which, you know, no offense to Europeans, but it was a very interesting thing. So that's another thing I like about the name, is that listening to people try to pronounce it is pretty fun to me personally. But it is a science term. I do read scientific literature, so that's something I have an interest in. And again, like I was saying before, is you know, I'm not trying to break any new ground. This is just me making levels that I, you know, kind of like, I wish I made this many years ago kind of vibe. You know, like these are kind of levels that I would make when I was like maybe in middle school or something. Stuff like that. Map 7 here is, I made it a dead simple map. Let's do some individual map commentary here. You know, there's not much to talk about, and it is kind of quick, but I do want to show this. If you know about map 7 here, it requires enemies to get the key, but I wanted this to have a no monsters route for the no-mo fans. So I don't know how I got that glide. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how I actually got this, because I was looking at the map showing you that there was a crevice, and I snuck in. I'm just gonna be honest with you, a couple of speedrunners have tried to teach me how to glide. I just don't know how to do it. So even though I designed this level to have keys out of bounds that you need to glide to get, and I don't really know how to glide. So this is another one here. I'm not really that good at it. I think I have short ticks enabled. There you go. So now you have the red key, you get in there. And this is how, there's another one in here as well, to open the path to get the blue key. So this is how you would beat this in like a no monster speed run. If you go on DS Darchive, you can watch, I think Cavo has a solid time there. But there you go, you know, little, my initial thing was I wanted that to take longer, than it would with monsters. I don't want someone to beat the level with monsters using that route. I want the beating with monsters to be faster, of course, because I don't know how to glide. You know, it took a lot longer for me, but now I think the fastest speed run is using that route. So I kind of fucked up a little bit there. But oh well, you know, I tried my best. This one, this map here is one of my favorites, actually. Probably in the whole set, but especially in episode 1. This may be my favorite episode 1 map. 1, it's the introduction of the super shotgun, which is always fun. 2, it's got that outside vibe. Kind of the inspiration for this level was, what is it? Scythe, like map 14, I think it is. Maybe it's 13. Which one is 13? I don't know. 13 or 14? I don't know. It's one of those. But, you know, just like a big outside kind of area. I really love this Wolfenstein texture. I think it's Rock 5 or something, maybe a Rock 6. I forget which one is which. I really enjoy this. This is one of my favorite textures. For those of you that don't know, I love Wolfenstein 3D. I played that either at the same time or before I started playing Doom, so I really love the reused assets. And so I really love using this texture a lot, especially in outside areas. And I just really like the floor variation here. I just think it's fun if you look at it with the map on like that. I really enjoy this level. This is probably one of my favorite levels in the whole set, but definitely my favorite in the first episode. I just think it's fantastic. Am I allowed to say that, by the way? You know, like, I did make the set, right? And so obviously I should like my own stuff, right? I'm allowed, and I also make them according to what my tastes are. So theoretically, I should like Autophagy more than anything else. I mean, that's not necessarily true, but I should. And it's a shame. It's a damn shame that I don't. One thing I've gotten a lot of comments about is how every level bleeds into the next level. I have a continuity of play. That's something I've always been obsessed with. Some of my earliest Doom levels, published and unpublished, do this. I'm surprised that it's not as common. I mean, there's a lot of Doom sets that are made by multiple people, so it's hard to get that cohesion when you're doing multiple people making level and level. And then also, you know, the exit being a teleporter or whatever, you know, lots of tropes that make it so that that's less likely to happen. And still makes sense, you know, cohesively. But I'm just a huge fan of the map-to-map continuity. And so I try to have that in all of my sets to some degree. You know, like sometimes, you know, again, I want to use teleport exits or something, but I try to have some sort of mechanism that's like kind of like a cohesive link between the levels here. And this level is like the first like one that I would say is definitely a difficulty upgrade. This is map 9, and the style, I do episodes with death exits, right? So map 10 is going to be a death exit, which is the next level. So I wanted to have some sort of difficulty upgrade here. You know, it's a high monster count, but I also have a bunch of crushers that like kill a lot of guys or severely damage them before they go into combat. For example, like these crushers here. So a lot of the monsters are weakened, or now if you look here, a lot of these guys are already dead. So like there's a lot of guys that, you know, you like, whoa, look at the monster count. I mean, you shouldn't be playing levels with the monster and secret count on by default anyway. You know, that's a story for another time. But you know, you look at it, you see there's 122 monsters, but like, you know, 40 of them, like maybe ish, I don't know, 30 or 40 get affected by the crushers, and a lot of those die. So it's like, you know, it's not that bad. And plus there's a bunch of rockets. You got a super shotgun right at the start. So I like that kind of like, whoa, it's a big difficulty upgrade, but also at the same time, not really, because you get a lot of rockets and a super shotgun. You have environmental hazards that are on your team, that kind of stuff. Also, that secret, I had a lot of fun with that one. I thought I had more rockets, but I do not. So the exit for this map, I wanted to have like that thematic kind of like, okay, so you're entering, you have this long staircase, and it's dark as well. I wanted it to show that there's darkness here, and then you hit the exit switch. And then map 10 is called Dead Lab Deep Under. I'm a huge fan of alliterations, I don't know if you could tell. And this level, I wanted it to be like a little bit of like an E1 M8 kind of atmosphere, but not like a Doom 1 E1 M8, but like more of just that, you know, like, so there's Doom E1 M8, right? And then there's the multiple iterations of people playing on Doom E1 M8, like all the various PWADs that also do that kind of theme and build on that. So that's more so what I was grappling with here, rather than the original E1 M8, but I wanted to have that kind of atmosphere for this level. That's why I chose the music that I chose. I'm not sure how high the volume is on the recording. I'm gonna, you know, I usually mess with that in post. But, you know, the music is that soft, you know, Doom 1 music. It's more ambience instead of like metal or rock or something, so. I'm a huge fan of the IWAD tracks. I find that a lot of people don't like them, or a lot of people feel like a level set is incomplete if they use IWAD tracks. I disagree completely. Max the dog is woofing in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear. Yeah, well. Hi, Max. Max, why? Why are you woofing? What the hell? It's Max the dog, everybody. Hi, Maxie. You can't see him, but you can hear him. But yeah, this is the end of the first episode. And the first episode is that like tech-basey Earth kind of vibe. I wanted the first episode to be kind of like, again, along the theming. It's just stuff you've already seen before. Not to say that I go out of, you know, most of the themes are stuff in the already have seen before kind of category, but I do kind of play with them, you know, a little bit of subversion here. This is one of my favorite parts in the level. Watching people, by the way, do this without the plasma gun, because there's 2 blue doors. There's this one, which has the plasma gun, and then this one, which has the cells. Sometimes people open this one without the plasma gun, and then they see the cells all over the place, right? And, you know, I'm talking about streamers or people that I've seen record videos, and, like, their brain doesn't ever kick in, and they go like, there's a lot of cells here. And I'm using the chain gun, something seems wrong, and then they go through the end of it, and then, like, maybe I watched this one stream, and I'm not trying to shit on anyone, you know, everyone plays Doom differently, I just find it funny, and then someone was like, oh, there's like 1 monster or 2 monsters left, and then they found the plasma gun at the end after they killed everything else. I find that to be hilarious. But I mean, you know, I did that on purpose, obviously. I wanted to have them both be accessible at any moment. Just so that, you know, that could happen, and I love when people fall for my devious schemes. But I also love the hallway where you just hold the fire button. I think it's just fun, you know? It's just kind of like, yeah, we got a high monster count, but a lot of it is just zombies, and there's a shitload of ammo. And then this one here, you have the rockets. And the rocket box has that tan color, so I used this tan color. A lot of the textures I used for Autophagy were IWAD textures, but I also threw in the Nightmare 5th episode texture pack, which is one I've been using on and off for like 15 years or so. So again, a lot of the ideas here are stuff that I've recycled from, you know, middle school, high school level stuff that I never either unpublished, you know, never published at all, or like some of my earliest published maps. So that kind of stuff. And again, this is very much a megawatt I made for me and me alone, you know, and I'm grateful that other people seem to like it, but you know, I consider it to be very up my alley. There is a secret here that not many people have seen. If you press on this wall, there's Max the dog. So Max the dog, while woofing in the commentary, is visible here. So I'm not sure. I think a couple of people have seen this, but there you go. It's an unmarked secret. And there is a marked secret right here. But yeah, that's the first episode. You go in here. I like this little door thingy there. The Barons come out, the good old Bruiser Bros, you know, where we've seen them before. You go in there, jump scare, you know, break your eardrums just a little bit. And that's episode 1. And then we have episode 2 starting with Go to Hell. That's one of my favorite map names. You know, I'm sure someone's done it before, but I did come up with it by myself. But I'm sure someone's done it before, because it is very obvious. And I am, you know, despite a lot of the reports, I am not a super genius. I'm just a regular genius, unfortunately. But this level, I wanted it to be like, you know, a very introductory level. You know, we're in hell, you know, bitch, you know, comma, bitch, we're in hell. And we're going deeper. And this is a little drop off. This is controversial in Doom level design of like, oh, point of no return. I love points of no return, especially in short levels. You know, I like to motivate people to replay my stuff, but I know that's not everyone's coffee cup or cup of coffee, whichever. And again, that's just kind of like a thematic level. I do this kind of stuff a lot, especially in megawads, where like some levels are just kind of short, just to kind of, you know, just kind of introduce you to a concept or a theme or something like that. And I think it's an underrated mapping technique. Like, not every level needs to be like the pinnacle of awesome, dude. You know what I'm saying? This is map 12, a pocket full of imps. You know, there's a lot of imps here. It's imps only, actually. And in the previous level also was imps only. So I like to have that kind of, again, slow start. You do get a shotgun straight away, so we're not doing that kind of stuff again. But like a slow start, you know, kind of, you know, death exits are a little controversial. I don't really know where, like, I go back and forth on them. I like the idea of death exits that can be skipped. Like, there's a couple of examples. I think Sunlust, one of the death exits, you can do like a line skip so that you avoid the death trigger. That kind of stuff is really cool. So I didn't put that into Autophagy, at least not to my knowledge. Maybe there's a way to skip them and someone hasn't figured it out yet. I'm out of ammo here because apparently I'm bad. Well, actually I have the rocket launcher. But maybe if I made another WAD with death exits, I would have some sort of exit skips in them. Or death skips, you know, so that you can go episode to episode if you know exactly what to do. Just because I feel like it does kind of ruin the pace of a like a full game speed run, having to have your inventory reset. But also, you know, I do like the idea of doing the thematic reset too. So, you know, I go back and forth on that, but I like this map. I wanted this section here as like a little Wolfenstein-y. That's why I'm using the brick texture here. Of course, I made all these levels in order, so I hadn't made the secret levels yet, but by the time I got to this point, I had already decided that the secret levels were going to be Wolfenstein themed. And again, I will be playing the secret levels here, but I will not be playing the third secret level, map 33. I may do a separate video for that because it's almost as long as the rest of the WOD. So, and if that sounds bizarre to you, it's map 33 for a reason. But I'll cover that at another point. And here, once again, I was mentioning with the map-to-map continuity. So 11 bleeds into 12, but then the end of 12 and onward for the Hell episode are Sky Floor exits. So there is that little bit of continuity, but then it's immediately kind of like, you know, it's undone a little bit. So 11 and 12 are like the same physical space, and then the rest you're kind of warping around through Hell. So, you know, I thought that was cool personally. This is Shred My Eyes, you know, cool level map name. I was going for something related to eyeballs, because I've kind of made the level layout look like an eyeball. There's a secret within a secret here, by the way. And then I thought, you know, let's go full maximum edgy, and we'll call it Shred My Eyes. For those of you who have or have not played my Chex Quest Mega WOD, the Penultimate Breakfast. This level, or a version of this level, is actually featured in episode 7 of Chex Quest, the Penultimate Breakfast, under the name Shred My Chex. For those of you that don't know, a significant amount of Chex Quest levels are converted Doom levels. And for episode 7 of Chex Quest, the Penultimate Breakfast, I wanted it to be based on those converted Doom levels. And so I wanted it to be so much so that I copied and, you know, fucked with one of my own maps here. I forget how to get this. Isn't there like a fucking switch around here? I guess it's somewhere else. And so if you want to go play this level in Chex Quest, that is an option. Here, I have this gap here. If you're playing on GZ Doom, you're just going to exit the level here, but there is a decoration. There's a flaming barrel like you can see there. I like that fake out. But of course, some people have played this with the infinite height turned off because they're filthy cheaters, and then they do that thing where they pretend like, oh, the level is like so weird. How come you can just exit there, man? This bad level design, even though they're literally cheating and no clipping through the game. You ever watch those guys? Insane stuff. If you are a GZ Doomer, don't be one of those guys. That's all I'm asking you. But yeah, I like this level. It's a solid level. I like the non-linear kind of format. You can go either way. It's like a big circle, that kind of stuff. Not too much to say, but there's enough to say to get me to the exit, which is very close. And now I'm there. So now we're in Outrage, and this level, I should also say that there's no armor on the entirety of episode 2. I was going out basing that off of, now there are armor bonuses I should say, but no green or blue armor pickups. I was basing that off of the Scythe episode 3, which also has no armor up until like I think the last level or whatever. I think there's armor on Fire and Ice, I'm pretty sure. There might even be armor on Hell on Earth. But like the red maps in Scythe 1 through 28 or something, there's no armor whatsoever. So that's what I was kind of going for here. Got a lot of complaints, but there are armor bonuses, and I do give a lot of soul spheres, and it's also like, you know, get good, a little bit of that, just a little bit, only a little bit, because it is kind of fucky wucky, but at the same time you should be getting good and binding your rewind keys so that doesn't happen. But this level's called Outrage because it's mostly outside. Huh? Yeah, I'll be here all week, everybody. In fact, I'll probably be here for the rest of my life on this YouTube channel, so definitely subscribe. And tell your friends, you know, like, I don't have friends, otherwise I would tell them, but, you know, if you hypothetically do have friends, you could tell your friends, hey, subscribe. There you go. I like these kinds of sections here where there's like a piece of wall that kind of like makes a, like, you know, there's a piece of wall that kind of separates, you know, a very small fork in the road. You know, it's not like they're two separate sections. But yeah, you can choose to go left here, and then there's that Hell Knight and Kako. Or if you go here, there's the Revenant. And then I do like these chain gunners up here. I always love that kind of decorative stuff. That's kind of like some Plutonia style there. And yeah, I love the small, like, inconsequential forks in the road, you know, like where you can make a choice, but it doesn't really matter too much. It's not that big of a deal kind of what way you go. It's just a very small separation of experiences. Just that really small non-linearity I'm a huge fan of. I mean, I'm a huge fan of large, sprawling, non-linear maps as well, but I just like kind of putting that kind of style into all kinds of stuff, even when it's you know, like Autophagy is a lot of short levels, so I kind of have a little bit of that in there when I can. There's a secret here, by the way, in case you didn't know. We got boil and sear. I was probably cooking at some point when I was creating this. One thing I was doing at the start of the Autophagy, like, creation process, you know, was I was doing I think I was doing a 3-day fast, which is no eating when I started working on this WOD. And when you're fasting, by the way, I'm not a doctor, but when you're fasting, that's when the cell recycling process known as autophagy takes hold in your body. So if you eat all the time and you haven't gone like 12 hours without eating, I think autophagy really sets in at around like 60 to 80 hour mark. Then you probably never experienced autophagy. It's a healthy thing, you know. If you're relatively healthy, you don't have diabetes or anything, I would consider you know, maybe trying a 3-day fast at some point. Of course, do a lot of research, otherwise you'll end up passing out. If you do like a strenuous job or something, you know, like I work from home, so I can just sit here all day and not eat food. But you know, definitely be intelligent with how you go about that. But I'm a huge advocate of abstaining from food for medical and health reasons, and that was part of why I came up with the name to do this, because I was like, oh, what if I made some levels while I was doing this 3-day fast, and then that kind of turned into a megawatt. Now again, I did make this in 12 days, so I didn't skip meals for the entirety of that, but I love this section here, by the way, with the little impassable mid-text that's kind of the zigging and the zagging. I don't know, it's just that kind of simple stuff I really enjoy. But yeah, so that's part of why I came up with the name Autophagy, because I was actively looking for that at the time. Maybe I should do another one, the 1-year anniversary. I try to do like a 3-day fast, like once, maybe at least once a year, preferably like twice, thrice. So if anyone wants tips, feel free to ask. But again, I am not a doctor, and I don't have like diabetes or any other medical condition that could potentially impact that. I'm also young, well, relatively young. I'm getting a little old. That's enough on the health advice, or non-advice here. But now I can exit the level. This is the exit right here. But this is map 15. Silly. You fucking idiot. You stupid idiot. So we gotta go do the secret exit. And the secret exit, I had a lot of fun with this one. Because again, I decided a long time ago, like, well, I decided like a couple days. I was making like maybe 3 or 4 levels a day for the first couple. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the Wolfenstein secret levels. And then I wanted this to be the first inclination. Is I ripped this resource from Wolfenstein 3D, and I was like, okay, so one thing has to get replaced. And now one funny aspect is when I did do this, I had to go back to 11, 12, 13, and 14 and make sure that make sure I wasn't using the same thing, because I replaced it here. So in like early release candidate versions of Autophagy, there's a couple of these skeleton cages in areas that I did not intend for them to be in. So a little funny there. And then we have this rock texture, which is the Doom version. And then here's the Wolfenstein version. So it is slightly different, and this one is scaled differently. So I wanted to have this door here kind of show that you're entering the different verse here. And then we have a little bit of a maze, but the maze is extremely easy if you know the trick. It's just hold left, and then it's the first left as the exit. But it does have a lot of dead ends there. And I used the Craytop 1 and 2 textures for the ceiling and the floor, because if those of you that haven't played Wolfenstein 3D, by the way, you just have to. I mean, regardless of whether or not you want to replay them all the time like I do or whatever, I mean, 10 out of 10 video games, S tier. I mean, it's from, one of my special interests is history. I'm a part-time historian. And so also I love video games. So, I mean, you can't sit here and play Doom all day without having played Wolfenstein 3D. You just have to. And so I'm a huge Wolfenstein fan. I've done speedruns of a lot of the Wolfensteins, one of my first games that I ever played. And so I wanted to make a scale accurate version of a Wolfenstein map, but it's not a ported map. These are my own. I made this level in the stylistic design of Wolfenstein 3D. And if you played Doom 2 map 31 or map 32, you'd notice that things are like twice as high because they just did like a sloppy import job. And I kind of like that because it does kind of go into like the whole you don't belong here kind of vibe. Like it does amplify the Easter egg vibe. But at the same time, I wanted to have a scale accurate version of a Wolfenstein map. So that's what I'm sure other people have done this. I'm sure that there's like one, I think there's a couple of like really old like Wolfen Doom kind of things that I haven't played them all yet. But this is really what I was going for, is I wanted to make like a kind of scale accurate Wolfenstein map. And here's one of my favorites is there's the secret there. And I put everything on a grid. I made this level as if it were a Wolfenstein level. So when it comes to making the level, I made it. I don't know if you've ever made Wolfenstein levels, but it's kind of like a little bit like a Minecraft type thing, where it's like tile based, and every tile you can place a block there. And so like the playable space are kind of like voids, right? There's nothing blocking there. And then each kind of like wall is a block. Like, so, I am sure most people here know about Minecraft, but if you've ever done Wolfenstein, or if you've never done Wolfenstein 3D levels, there's a chain gun in here, by the way. The only weapons here are the chain gun, so I wanted it to be Wolfenstein accurate even in that capacity. But yeah, so I did, I wouldn't say it's painstaking, but I did painstakingly make sure that this was as accurate to that kind of level design as possible. And so all the thing placements are on a grid, on the 64 unit grid I think I used with Ultimate Doom Builder. All the things are on there. The walls are all aligned to that as well. So I had a lot of fun. I mean, again, porting all the textures too. I didn't import all the textures myself. I did use a couple of very old Doom 2 WODs from the 90s. That did like Wolfenstein imports, like there's a lot of old like Wolfen Doom kind of stuff from the 90s and early 2000s that I pulled these resources from. But I did pull the music, this song, I did pull this directly from Wolfenstein 3D, so it is technically copyright infringement. Don't sue me. But there's that locked door, by the way, is important because it's you can't open it. And we have to get a key first. One thing you'll also notice about this level is the music I chose is one of my favorite tracks in Wolfenstein 3D, and it's one of those like episode 2 songs where there's like, it's like kind of like a horror game. Like, for those of you that haven't played Wolfenstein, I mean, you have to, but for those of you that did play it like back in the day, like episode 2 was a horror game. You have those mutants running around, the music is a lot more kind of like ambient and kind of like scary, and like those mutants were insane because they could kill you instantly, and they don't make a lot of noise like when you're by the way, there's the secret to the key and everything, and so like I kind of tried to bring that horror vibe to this level here, and I think it went pretty well. I have a bunch of these fake outs here, so you can see, I just want to go back here, so you can see that there's a second exit and a soul sphere. So you go in here, you think, oh, okay, and then you're trolled again, so you have to go through this maze here. Now this maze is extremely easy. I'm going to tell you the solution. You make a right, and then you just go straight this way. You just hang to the right. So the other one that I mentioned was you hang to the left. This one is you hang to the right, and you're there every time, so... and again, those episode 2 maze sections with the vine textures like this, I love the vines. Hopefully, if anyone out there likes Wolfenstein 3D, hopefully I did a good job making a somewhat accurate version of it. The only thing I couldn't do, I was trying to do push walls. I was really thinking of ways to make a push wall work, but I eventually just decided, fuck it. I came up with a couple of ways to make them work, but it was a little too sloppy, and it looked a little ugly. And I didn't feel like kind of tweaking it to make it look as seamless as I could. And, of course, Doom does not have that capability. That is one thing. Moving objects like walls and stuff is something that Doom cannot do. So you'd have to do a workaround. But the level name is Somewhen Wolfen. Because, we're going, it's Somewhen, because we're somewhere, and somewhen else. So we have map 32. Called Somewhen Wolfen Again, and I love rhyming and alliterations. So there you go. The music here I got from some Doom WOD, and it is like a redux of a Wolfenstein 3D song. Later, after releasing Autophagy, I came to realize that this is not just a redux of a Wolfenstein song, but it's actually a song from, I think, Duke Nukem 2. And which also had Robert Prince do the music. So he basically just used the same song in Wolfenstein 3D and Duke Nukem 2. But I thought that this version was really cool, so I wanted to use this for map 32. So this is also written by Robert Prince. Technically, though, it was not written for an id Software game, so. And again, map 33, well, I'll talk about map 33 later. But yeah, I wanted this map here. This has full bright as opposed to the other one, which had like kind of the shadows. Wolfenstein 3D itself does not have lighting, but I did want to make map 31 to be a little bit more ambient and moody, so I did use the lighting there. But this one is full bright, which is an exception. And then here's the floor changes here. I wanted to have it so that you would go down floors, so it's like multiple maps in one. And then as you progress down the floors, it gets a little darker. So hopefully people, we're picking up on the signals there. Pretty cool, if you ask me. If you ask me, it's pretty cool. Super shotgun. And then also we have demons. So of course, like, it's supposed to, like we're going down and down and down into the basement of Castle Wolfenstein, and now we got some Doom enemies here. So I had a lot of fun making this level. I wanted this level to be a nice combination of Doom and Wolfenstein, whereas 31 is like a pure Wolfenstein. This one, though, and map 33 are still along that grid style, where everything is created in the level editor as if it were a Wolfenstein 3D level. Except for one section in here where it kind of bleeds out a little bit, but I'll show you that when I get there. But yeah, so I came up with this concept. I was originally going to make map 32 like really long, and this is already the longest level. If you don't count map 33, this is the longest level, I think. But like this was originally going to be much longer, and then I realized this is the concept with the elevator and the doing multiple floors in one map concept. I was like, oh man, I really want to go out of control with this. So that's when I decided to do a map 33, which is, I think it's 9 floors in map 33, which is supposed to be an entire episode replacement for Wolfenstein 3D. One of these days I gotta demake map 33 of Autophagy into Wolfenstein 3D. Now that would be fun. Here's a mandatory secret, by the way. I wanted to make it obvious, but I do love mandatory secrets, and that is a feature of Wolf 3D, so I had to have it here. But again, there's a key, there's a door, and then there's one texture that's out of place. Like, you'd have to be stupid not to see it. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff. But again, I got a little out of control here, so this level is kind of long. And then I decided I would just rather take that concept and do a map 33 Easter egg level. And again, I'm not going to be covering map 33 in this video, because I don't have all day here, but also it would probably end up being as long as this entire video, so. And also, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little scared of map 33. I haven't played it in about a year, so I don't really know if I'll remember where to go in that one, but if anyone wants me to, if I get enough people in the comment section telling me to do a map 33 video, I'll do it, okay? But I really enjoyed this level. I had a lot of fun doing the Wolfenstein levels. This is probably, not gonna lie, probably my favorite part of Autophagy to play. It's just so much fun. I had such a great time. Like I'm just giddy right now because this is my first time playing Autophagy all the way through in like maybe about 11 months or so. So here's the next level. We have the vines here. The cacos come out of the floor. So around this section was where I kind of decided I was going to make a map 33. And then that meant I was going to change this style up. So the first and second floor of this map are very similar in what in map 31, you know, and then this one you get this, and then the walls go down and you're back in a Doom level. And I kind of wanted to make it so that it's one of those like glitchy worlds I was going for. So there's like a lot of the Wolfenstein textures that are on the walls, you know, and it's kind of like just the level design is bleeding from one game to the next. That's what I was going for. If you go in here, there's a secret. Here's another picture of Max the doggy. Hi, Max. He's on the floor right now. So right here, this is when I decided to make a map 33. So I put in a little secret with text that says, try idclev 33. And that takes you to the 33rd map. That's the only way. You can't get there in the base game or anything. So I'm a huge fan of that. But yeah, originally this was going to be map 33, and then I realized if anyone, well, that would basically make it so no one would want to do and myself included, would want to do a D2 all UV max run. So, I was like, okay, let me make this level a little bit shorter. It's still like I think the longest map in the WAD, but it's like a lot more tolerable. So, you know, I had a little bit of foresight there with that one. I think map 33, when I did my run for part-times, all the part-times in this are based on like a casual UV max. So like, you know, obviously I'm a good Doom speedrunner. You know, I don't want to toot my own horn. I think I'm good. Am I great? I don't know, but I think I'm good. But you know, it's just a first try. So these are my levels, and I am pretty solid at Doom. But I didn't like optimize them or go for like hard strats. In fact, I purposefully did slower routes in a lot of the levels to get the part-times. And I think the part time for map 33 was like 45 minutes or something crazy. But again, here's all like the glitched textures because it's like the games are bleeding into each other. I really enjoyed doing that. So we have another Max the dog photo. I like how this one is one of the blocks, so you get a little bit of that fun. I don't know what it's called, but like when the edge of the texture fucks around like that. But goddamn, I love Max the dog. Anyway, those are the secret levels. So now we're back into the Hell episode. Here we go. And this is Dripping Evil. You know, for level names aren't always the easiest for me, but I had a lot of fun with the level names because I was just going for that, like, you know, early 2000s, late 90s, like, Doom edgelord kind of vibe for the episode 2 names here. You know, Boil and Sear, Dripping Evil. Like, yeah, it's lame, it's corny, but it's kind of the point. So I had a lot of fun with that. But again, this level is a very generic Hell map, you know. I'm not trying to break any barriers here. You can pretty much very easily get through to the end there. But again, you know, I'm just going for short, bite-sized encounters here. And yeah, I'm having fun, hopefully. I'm about halfway through this video here. Hopefully y'all are enjoying this. If anyone wants me to do more, like, full-length commentary stuff like this, I will probably end up doing some of my other WADs at some point. And, but, you know, I could do it for other stuff, too. But when it's something that that's not mine, I'm more compelled to do a different type of video. Like before on this channel, I was doing individual map reviews, and I'm going to go back to doing that as well at some point. So that's probably more along the lines of commentary that I would do, where I like look at all the maps' intricacies and talk about them in detail. But you know, just let me know if you like this kind of stuff. You know, I'm begging for feedback here a little bit, just a little bit. I gotta make sure that people like me, otherwise, you know, without validation, I crumble like a house of cards, obviously. So, but this map here, this is called Outlier, and the reason I chose that name was because this is the first evolution MIDI to be used. So that, you know, also, because I wanted to have, I wanted to bring in evolution MIDIs, because to me, when I think evolution, or when I think like red maps, I think of late game evolution that has some really good stuff in it. And yeah, this level I wanted to use like the brown ash wall. I tried to use all the ash walls in different stages, in different ways with these levels here. But the level name is just based on the fact that I wanted this to be the first song, the first map that uses a non-IWAD song, assuming you're not counting the Wolfenstein stuff. And this is one of my favorite evolution songs. It does have that excellent atmosphere. I believe there's a spider mastermind somewhere around here. Yep, there we go. Oh, I do have the BFG from the secret levels. I forgot about that. Yeah, there's a lot of like soul spheres hanging around. Again, the secret levels, by the way, do have armor, like actual armor, not armor bonuses. And once again, we're back to the lack of armor bonus stuff. By the way, as far as the intermission screen is concerned here, I kind of made this shit in GIMP when I was really high one night. You know, the vibe I was going for was I wanted to add like the fucking scan line bullshit. But then I also did like a bunch of waves in here, so I don't know, I was just kind of fucking around. Hopefully you like it. If you don't, that's a shame. Here we have Underworld. I wanted a level that has no sky, so that's why I called it Underworld, you know. Sometimes I come up with the level name while I'm making the level, or like, you know, as I'm starting the level itself, you know, like I'll draw a couple lines, then I'll go like, okay, here's the idea, and then I'll write the name down. Sometimes I finish the entire level before coming up with a name. Sometimes I'll not come up with a name at all, and then like when I'm done the whole wad, I'll go back and name them. But this one I did come up with because I wanted a level with no sky. There's a little bit of a texture error here. The crackle is on that lower step there. I'm trying to show off this texture I'm getting shot at. But it should be the blood. Befall. So, I'm sorry, but I have befallen all of you on this day. I hope that's grammatically correct so that my pun is effective. I got no goddamn ammo here at all. Like, this kind of sucks. Yeah, I might die. Holy shit. So one thing I've said before, like when I was doing map commentary stuff, is that I'm not really engaged in the game. I'm kind of more engaged in the mental aspect of speaking. But you know, I almost died here, so I gotta maybe this is a round where it gets a little hard, so I gotta maybe pay attention because I haven't really been paying attention at all to the gameplay. I'm just kind of playing with my subconscious here. I like that lava fall in the exit there, so. But yeah, we're getting up to the end of episode 2. We got 2 levels left here. This is Somewhere in Hex Hand. This is based off of like, I think E3 M2, but it's not based off of it in the sense that the map is a hand. It's obviously not a hand. But I wanted to have like a similar kind of like atmosphere to it. So the name is kind of a reference to that, but the map layout itself, like on the top down, is not a reference to it. So it's a little bit of a multi-pronged referential reference, if you will. One thing I really enjoy here is the secret. I love the open secret area, or like, you know, the exit, not the secret, but the exit. It's not a secret exit either. It's just my words. But I like kind of that open exit, so you always know pretty much from the start of the level where the exit's going to be. I enjoy that kind of, you know, not in every level I do that, but I like having it in some levels. You know, it's just a fun trope. Think like Doom 2 map 18 is probably the progenitor on that one, having the exit door like right behind the starting position. Once again, I was mentioning this earlier with, I think, Outrage, is I love having these like little areas that it's like you could go left here, or you could go around here, and then there's a door and a Revenant. So I like having that little bit of non-linearity. Another thing that I love doing are optional areas. A lot of these levels, especially when we get later into the game here, there's a lot of areas that are just completely optional. Like this section here, Max the dog is currently yelling at something, but this section here is entirely optional. And in fact, I'm not even going to go in there. You got to play it yourself. But hopefully you've already played it yourself, so you already know what's in there, right? You wouldn't continue watching this without having played the game yourself first. Right? 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 Anyway, let's get some rockets here. Hi, Max. Max, I'm recording a video and we're talking about you. You're famous. But yeah, I love optional areas. I'm a huge fan of that kind of stuff. So this area is a big optional area. Again, I was going off of like E3 M2 for the design of that room. So once again, I love the silhouetted Revenants here, but we have like the B-fall section that's up in the the window. I just, something about it. It's a little corny, you know. It's not the first time I've done it in this WOD, but it's just something about it looks cool. And again, you have that kind of like, you can go on either side. You can deal with those guys, or you can deal with these guys. You know, either way, you're gonna have to deal with something. And then this is like a little fun part here. You have to do this like platforming. And again, that's the thing, because you already know, or at least you should already know where the exit is. So you should know like, okay, the exit's over there. I'm on the ledge, you know. But there you go. That's map 19. We're going to be exiting episode 2 pretty shortly here. So now we have some red text on the intermission screen. This is map 20 called Fuck 'em Up. And I'm a huge fan of using the fuck word when it comes to level names. Big fan. And, but, you know, you can't just use them willy-nilly. One of my favorite examples is, you know, obviously Sunlust, map 29, which is called Go Fuck Yourself. You know, one of the best map names of all time. So I was channeling a little bit of that energy for this one, but, yeah. I wanted to have, like, a big open sky section. Like, this whole level is you're walking on the sky. Like, you're not even just in hell anymore. You're in somewhere else. You're, like, hell 2.0, hell squared. God forbid, hell cubed. It's all over, you know? So that's what I was going for there. More of that kind of, like, void, you know, the beyond kind of thing I was going for here. There's a little bit of some, you know, hall of mirrors. Really, it's a wall of mirrors. You know, there's no hallway, but whatever. I didn't properly do all the edges, so some of the edges are a little fucked up. But again, I just like, yeah, I noticed that, but I chose not to fix it because why bother? You know, it's like, oh no, the world is over because there's a fucking wall of mirror. Yeah, that's right. I'm rebranding them. That's a WOM. HOM? I don't think so. It's a WOM. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. When I notice that kind of stuff, as long as it's not an essential area and it's at the corner, you know, whatever, just leave it in. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. I'm gonna die. I've got like no health. Holy shit. Alright, we got to engage the conscious mind for a moment here. Also, once again, Evolution Map 2, one of the best songs in all of Doom IWADs. And I mean, just all of Doom, all of MIDI music. I love this motherfucking song. It's just so goddamn good. And again, the only BFG is from the secret levels. And I really like that kind of, like, you have to go way out of your way to get the BFG. And it does massively reshape how these levels flow. Because if you don't have the BFG here, these levels can be a little bit more difficult. I just spat all over my monitor. I apologize. So every room you have to like hit a switch and one of those sections goes down. You can archvile jump up there. I don't know why that happened. You can archvile jump up there if you're really good at the game. I never actually tested that, by the way, but it did turn out to be possible. I believe someone, I want to say it's fucking goddamn Kavoth the Sixth String, world-renowned Doom speedrunner, who did that. But that was one of those like examples of a trick that I think is possible, but I never tested it because I was like, if it's not possible, I don't really care enough, and also it's really annoying. But it is possible. So, and that's the exit. You go in here, you blow the fuck up, you're in the void, and we're going on to episode 3. Once again, I just, if anyone out there is an aspiring speedrunner, and I consider every person who watches these videos to be an aspiring speedrunner, because you should be. That's the best thing in the world for you to be doing. I highly recommend checking out Autophagy. It's not fully completed on the UV Max table. There's plenty of levels that have not been UV Maxed yet. So if you want to just do like a little bit of a casual max run, you can on Autophagy. And I think most of the UV speeds or pacifists have been done. But still, I mean, I consider this to be fun. And also, again, one of the reasons behind me making levels like this is because I do want to motivate people to speedrun. So now we're in episode 3, getting back up, and again, Evolution Map 1 music. You gotta use it. You gotta love it. And this section here, this episode theme, I was kind of just fucking winging it as I went along. And this one I was mentioning earlier is this theme is something that I kind of just messed around with. This is a little bit more novel than some of the other ones. Like the first episode is like, oh, tech-based. The second episode is, oh, red maps and hell stuff. Right, this one is a little bit more of an interesting one. So, kind of starts off with that like kind of tech-basey stuff. But we do have like, we're in space or something, like whatever that is. So, and that's just the first map here. Now this building is a little ugly, but I did that on purpose. I was channeling Evolution Map 8 or something like that with the giant metal 2 walls that just have nothing there. So you can do a glide there. I don't think this one was intentional, I'm not gonna lie. But like, why would you glide when you can just like go in here and do nothing, because you have to open this first. Go in here and then go in here, and then you're good to go. And once again, now that we're out of hell, the continuity is back. So here we are, we're at the end of map 21. This section here, still exists. And now we're in drifting through. And again, more with the evolution music. Gotta love it. And so this level is where I came up with the theme for episode 3. And I wanted it to have kind of like the world is falling apart kind of theme. And so that's why I came up with the name Drifting Through. And so here we have some of these walls that just go out to space. Like the panels are missing and nothing is there. Like if you go look in there, but there's a door here. And one of my favorite effects using the sky is when, like this effect right here. So like you look there is a wall, but there's no other side of the wall. It's just nothing. I love that kind of shit. A little shout out to Underhalls here. Gotta love Pipe 2. And once again, we've got some of the holes in the wall along the pipe indentations. I think this section is optional, I'm pretty sure. And you get a big cell pack, but there's no plasma gun yet. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this level, because when I made this level is when I was coming up with the theme. So like, I just remember like, I got really high, and I was like, okay, alright, I got something here. And I was like, ooh, like this section here, I was like, okay, let me remove some of these panels. Yeah, there you go. There you fucking go. And then that's it, pretty much. I love the low sky floor here too, like just like the ceiling is missing. Kind of has that weird sense of like claustrophobia, but also it's like a wide open space because it's a sky, so it's like that dual kind of vibe that I really enjoy. So one thing here about the exit, you'll notice that this hallway is right here. Now, if you look at the map, right, this hallway is right on the other side of where this exit is. Keep that in mind. So now we're on to crashing state. Completely different section, right? So you're seeing how, again, I'm using the continuity here. You're still in the same map, you know, physical location, but the physical location is not in the same place, like spatially or dimensionally. And I have like the floors falling apart here, that kind of stuff. And then you can look through there. You got map 21 over there because I wanted to have both exits to be kind of like, you know, I wanted it so that you could see 21 from 23. You'll notice map 23 uses stock music. And this is a reference to the fact that every Doom 2 IWAD, so Plutonia, Evolution, and Doom 2 all use this same track for map 23. One of my favorite little pieces of trivia. It's one of the best tracks in Doom 2. So I wanted to join that roster of the all-time greats, and I wanted to have map 23 use the Them Bones MIDI. So, there you go. There's your Autophagy trivia. But yeah, this map here is like you're fully outside. You're in some like outside like asteroid or something. It's really hard to say. You have a little bit of that low sky ceiling. You can arch-file jump right to the exit up there. My fingernails are a little long, so I keep accidentally hitting 2 or 3 when I'm trying to hit W. It's causing a real big problem. But yeah, I like having these like little kind of like mini slaughter fights where it's like, okay, you got a bunch of Manx and zombies. And like if you're rocketing the Manx, you're gonna default kill the zombies with splash damage, you know? So it's like they're basically just not even there. They're only there just to see their guts explode. Yeah, and again, so you were in some outside area. We started off in like a tech-based metal industrial area, and then now we have this like weird marble temple going on here. So I wanted to have like all different kinds of themes, like kind of clash all in the same levels. And again, once I came up with that theme of having like the world falling apart style, it was a lot easier just to kind of combine different level themes when you got that. And also, of course, with the Barrels of Fun song, you have to have some barrels to have fun here. So I had a little trail of barrels so that all these guys are slightly damaged. When they wake up to fight you, they're all like, you know, 1 or 2 shots less than you would have to do normally. So, and again, the door that goes up to nowhere. Again, I love it. Gotta love it. Twilight Temple. This is one of my favorite levels too. So we're using Evolution Map 30 music, one of the best. This is a Tyson map. And even though it's map 24, like that's the thing, making map 24 a Tyson map is really hard, especially with continuous play. But the way I did it was I made map 23 have not that much extra ammo. So like if you're playing continuously, one thing I did with this, you know, a lot of gamers out there like to do the pistol start challenge, man. My opinion, if you're playing a WAD for the first time, like pistol start challenge is kind of like, it's like, you know, the kindergarten version of speedrunning. You know what like, to me, and this is just my opinion, you might as well just play it continuously for your first time. And so I did tailor this for continuous experience. And so that's why, like, in a lot of, in 21 and 22, there's, like, a lot of cell ammo, but there's no plasma gun or BFG. And you get a lot of shells, but there's, you know, very little. I think there's a chain gun you can get, but I managed to not get. I think there's a chain gun you can get somewhere. Maybe not. But anyway, so I wanted it to be so low on ammo, pretty much, once you get here. And, again, making that happen on, like, a 24... is pretty interesting. So it had me go back and tweak some of the ammo routes for 22 and 23 a little bit so that there's just not too much here. So that when you do get here, you're motivated to use the fist a lot more. And again, one of my favorite effects here is the blinking with kind of like the like weird like rune like kind of style, like floor and ceiling falling apart thing. There is some like kind of like lettering in there, but I will spoil it all now. There's no hidden meaning. I'm not that deep. I'm sorry. This section here is straight out of Evolution map 29 here, with that like short ledge out to nothing. I really enjoy it. I'm just gonna run the fuck away here. Lots of soul spheres, because again, this is kind of a Tyson map, especially if you're doing it with Pistol Start, or you know, or recording a demo here. So I did have lots of soul spheres, because just having soul spheres is a lot more fun than you know, a bunch of med kits. Like, even though, like, you know, you can have this. What the fuck? Oh, I'm out of shells. That's right. It's because there's no goddamn shells in this map. There's a little bit though. See if I can get in this guy's grill. Alright, fuck it. I'm exiting. That's one of the only non-switch exits. If you're not counting the sky floor thing as well, you just walk toward the corpse. And this is probably my favorite level transition in the entire WAD, is 24 to 25. This one is my absolute favorite. Right, so you're in the same location, and you go back through the door, and you're somewhere else completely. I love it. I don't know. Call me corny, call me silly, say it's whatever. I thought it was cool. Okay. And then also we have this, like, you're kind of looking down at this level, so you can see, like, oh, okay, there's a level down there, you know? The coming in from the sky. That's what I wanted to have happen, is you jump into the level from the sky. Here's the first plasma gun, I think. So hopefully people enjoy that. One of my favorite level transitions that I've seen, but it's mine, so I'm a little biased. But also I just think it's kind of cool, man. A lot of these levels are like speed run to the exitable. Like, for example, you can just kind of speed run to the exit here. Again, I love having that, like, the whole level be optional kind of vibe, where it's like, you know, you're going through the level, but you can beat it in like 15 seconds if you know where the exit is. But also there's just a lot of side areas. I just love optional areas. I'm a huge fan of that. So but I'm not going to be exiting the level quite yet. So you go around here, you're confused, like what? And then once you go around, this section starts lowering. I thought that was a really fun, it's not even really a trap, but just like you know, just an area of, like, you go into this like weird outside area, like you're in the void, and there's nothing there, and then the room kind of changes so you can get the mega armor. I am failing completely. Okay, so I have 2% health. I should have probably realized that sooner. I love these guys standing on here. But yeah, for this level and a lot of the levels for episode 3, I was really going for that, like, kind of abstract, you know, kind of what I was going for was a little bit of like a psychedelic trip kind of thing. Like, for me, sometimes, you know, when I'm on a high dose of drugs, I will, you know, I will have like that weird non-linear time experience where it's like I interpret being, let's say, in the living room. At the same time, I'm interpreting being in the backyard. At the same time, I'm interpreting being at the 7-Eleven, getting a Slurpee at the same time, you know. And so that's kind of what I was going for here. We got the Crusher, which slightly desyncs. So it starts off synchronized, but then there's the slight puddle that has like the 1 map pixel raised. So like this section kind of desyncs over time, which I think is cool. But that's kind of what I was going for with this episode. It's like you don't know where the fuck you are, and more importantly, you don't know when you are either. So yeah, that's pretty much the level. I'll exit here. Spirit caves. I mean, again, corny but cool. Now we're in the silent depths. Why are they silent? I don't know. Doesn't sound very silent. There's barrels all over the goddamn. Yeah, this is my first time playing through some of these levels, and pretty much like, you know, I did do a bunch of speedruns for Autophagy, like in the month after it came out, so like 11 months or so it's been since I played a lot of these levels, so I'm having a lot of fun here, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I'm having fun playing my own games. Holy shit. Who'd have guessed? It's almost like they're tailored exactly to my tastes. It's almost like that, though. Yeah, a lot of these like weird areas where you're kind of on the precipice of nothing. I love that kind of stuff. So I was going to town with that for this episode. Now, again, I'm not saying that I invented this style or anything, but this isn't like directly ripped. Like episode 1 of Autophagy is kind of ripped from like a tech-basy. Episode 2 is kind of ripped from like, again, I mentioned Scythe episode 3, the red maps. But this is kind of just like a weird amalgamation of shit that I was thinking about, so. But of course, again, the theme of Autophagy is recycling old ideas. So of course, you know, I'm not out here claiming credit that I'm a super advanced hyper genius, but I was trying to make this one a little bit more unique than the first 20 or so levels. So hopefully I accomplished that. I hope, you know, a little bit. I really enjoy this room. I love like the white rock. I love the red rock in the middle section, or rock red, I should say. It's just, and I love the water. I feel like the colors here pop really nicely. And Invis probably made matters a little worse here. Yeah, you could kill all those guys. I like that trap a lot. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna go back here. I like this room. This is one of my favorite rooms, probably, in episode 3. I just like the low sky, and then you have like the high non-sky up here, right? So you have the low sky here, but then you got a hole in the ceiling that goes above where the sky should be, like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I love having fun with the sky in Doom. I just love the wacky shit. A lot of the time you see people report that kind of stuff as like an inconsistency or like a glitch or a bug or whatever, but to me it's a feature. This level's a little bereft on optional areas, so, you know, changing up the design strategy a little bit. I think I initially made it so you only needed 1 key, but then I was like, you know what, I want to have this level be a little bit longer, so. Here's another exit door with a blue key, which doesn't exist, and a switch, which is the exit switch, right? And again, shoutouts to map 18 of Doom 2. You're right next to the exit now. So this one, this is Going to Surface. The level name here is a play on Plutonia 3, Going to Surface. And again, the idea here is that you're going to surface. So you are underground or something, you're in like a cave of some kind, and you gotta go to surface. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to go into too much depth here. But yeah, I wanted this map to be like kind of like a slaughter map, but again, not difficult. You know, just have a shitload of guys with a shitload of rockets, and you just blow them all up. A lot of barrels, plenty of barrels to blow these guys up with. I just wanted this map to be like kind of the here's a bunch of fuckers kind of map, you know? And again, this goes back into like that weird, like where are we kind of thing, because this level's kind of, it looks like a little bit of like an episode 1 type of map, you know, like map 8 a little bit with different textures. And it's got like some of these buildings here, like this weird industrial building. But again, it doesn't really make any sense in the grand scheme of it. So I did want it to have that kind of like revisiting old themes, but in a new kind of way. And I think I did that pretty well. How does this open? Shouldn't that be open? I thought that opened if I went in here. Wait, no. This way? Yeah, this map has a couple optional areas too. So that's, again, I love optional areas. You know, I don't want to make every level like that. So like the previous one had like almost no optional areas and it was very straightforward. And You have to get this key, and then you gotta go there, right? But obviously that's not how I design every level, so. Of course, we got the Monster Condo music, which is always appreciated. But yeah, map 27, there you go. And then here, this is another one of my favorites, is like, what the fuck? So, like, you know, you're kind of expecting, or you're conditioned, right, I think, to open an exit door and there be like a small room with a switch. Where this one is like, oh, now you're in some weird, like, factory or some shit. I always like kind of doing those level transitions at the end of a level. Doing them at the start of a level kind of sucks, because when you're doing a speed run and you want to reload the level over and over again, that kind of blows. All right, map 28, Recycle Center. Of course, Autophagy is the layman way to explain it is cell recycling. And so I had to have a level called Recycle Center. So, and again, this is like kind of that weird, like, is this an episode 1 style map? But it's got some of that like world falling apart stuff. Now also I should say that this level's theme, or like design principle, is that the exit is available right at the start. So we're kind of on this like weird central like courtyard area, this atrium, if you will. Right, you start over there, and then you go over here, and here's the exit, and it's openable at any time. I'm going to be showing some of the map here, but excellent. Alright, so that is the exit, and then as you can see, that's kind of like the path to the next level. But then there's also, I wanted to have like a red key door right next to the exit, right? So the player will go to the exit, they'll be like, wait, what? And then they'll turn around, there's a red key door, but wait, you know? So I love having that whole map is optional kind of vibe. But then also the thing about that, especially for like a level 28 like this, is if the whole map is optional, right? That's an excuse to like raise the difficulty, right? Because you can't complain too hard if you're choosing to play parts of the level that are completely optional, right? So this is where a little bit of my unhinged derangement comes out. Now you might be saying, is this level hard? I mean, not really. But keep in mind, what is the level called? It's called Recycle Center, right? So think about that for a moment while we play some of the rest of this. I like having these little hallways here, just a little bit of different themes kind of put in there just to change it up a little bit. This Archvile's giving me a hard time. Whoopsie. Uh-oh, you need a blue key, but also, if you notice, there is a map here. And again, this is where a little bit of my derangement comes out to play. Because you get the map, and a lot of people will get a map and then immediately forget that they got it and never use it. But if you get the map, right? Okay, this is the map with the auto map here. You'll notice over here that there's an arrow. And so now, if you, in the editor, there's an option to tag lines is not showing up on the map. And so I tagged a section out here that doesn't show up on the map, but I did put an arrow of lines so that when you get the computer map power up, it shows you, go over here. And so there's a little section over here, and that is the blue key. So then, in fact, I'm gonna go in here real quick. There is something in here. Yep. It's been a while, I forget where my secrets are. And then these guys come out to play. But I got a bunch of ammo, so it's all good. Alright, so if we go back in here, now that we have the blue key, we have a fuckload of Archviles. So remember what I said earlier about the level name? So, again, if the whole map is optional, essentially, I accidentally stopped the recording. But if the whole map is optional, can you really get upset when a wall of archviles comes out of nowhere? I'm having a hard time here. This fucking light pole, man. What was I thinking? But yeah, so these archviles will basically teleport all across the map into different sections of the map. And I kind of made it semi-random too. Because there's a bunch of line deaths, and depending on how many monsters are out playing, they'll sometimes, like, not be able to trigger the teleport, and thus hit another teleport. So if you leave a lot of monsters around in the center area, basically the archviles will be in a different area than you would expect. And then also, if you kind of rush in there and try to block them from teleporting, that kind of changes how they will disperse as well. So one thing I also really enjoyed is that the BFG is really only accessible in the secret levels, right? So here we're on map 28 and we still have no BFG. Like, are we gonna get a BFG, or is it just exclusively in map 32? And the answer to that question is there is no answer, because I don't fucking remember. There might be another BFG, how would I know? Anyway, that's map 28. You can do the rest if you like. But again, I like having that whole level as optional thing. I called it Recycle Center because the theme of the level is the whole roster gets recycled, and also it's in the WAD Autophagy. And there you go. So we're going into map 29, Library of the Sky. Again, I'm a huge fan of having like thematic, atmospheric level 29s, the penultimate level. Because level 30 you can do like a boss level, you can do something, but I love having like 29 be kind of like that atmospheric bookend. And so this section here, I really, really enjoy it. You see the torches that make stairs, and then you see, and I quote, literally, the Library of the Sky. So you go up here. The sky floor kind of like effect is a little strange here. Kind of looks like it's eating up the building. But you know what? The jankiness of it makes me like it even more. These bookshelf textures I got on Doom World in a texture pack. I forget exactly where I got them, but I like them. This is a long time ago, I think I got them. But I've been like, I saved them somewhere. I wish I would have remembered the credit. But it's just combining the pan book with the marble, but it looks really good. And one of my favorite themes in Doom is I love library levels. I love bookshelves. And of course, you know, I had to make a bookshelf map. And I came up like relatively early in the design process of episode 3. I wanted to have map 29 be a bookshelf map. And so kind of, you know, while I was making the rest of the episode, this was always hanging in the back of my mind. And I love going through the rows here. Here we have the first and only Cyber Demon in the entire WAD. And that's the thing is like, a Cyber Demon is really context dependent. Like for me, someone who considers myself to be relatively good at the game, how do I make a Cyber Demon difficult? By putting them in a super enclosed area with a lot of like random objects for the, like a lot of walls for the rockets to hit. And so this is my way of making the Cyber Demon fight really difficult. But at the same time, you can cheese it extremely easily. All you have to do is get around them and you can do this. So it's very difficult if you don't know the cheese, but if you know the cheese, it's the easiest thing in the world. And I kind of, you know, that's my way of doing it. And this is the only Cyber Demon in the WAD. There's one Spider Mastermind, and I think that was on Outlier. And then there's one Cyber Demon, which is in the Library of the Sky. This section here, the moving up and down floor to reveal like just the void, I also really enjoy this section, one of my favorites. I just think it's a really cool effect. There is an invis somewhere here, okay. That way these chain gunners don't fuck me up too bad. Shoot! right. Again, one of my favorite sections of the whole WOD. I just love using the void out there. It's just, I think it's fun. So hopefully you enjoy it too. The 2 revenants, I forgot about these guys. Oh my god. The 2 guys in here that just punched the fuck out of you. I forgot about them and they got me good. Excellent. There's also a mega armor in here that I forgot about. Alright. Just an archvile in the nothing room out here. Again, I love having the level transitions. There's still that like continuity of play, like in the same physical space, but at the same time, it's also like that physical space is really fucking weird, you know? So I had a lot of fun with that. And now we're going to be getting into the final map, which is called Cleanse. It is an Icon of Sin map. I've never really made like a classic Icon of Sin map before, and that remains to be true because I always have a twist on it. So if you go to the back, if you go up here, it teleports you to the map here. But if you go out back, there's an invuln. And the invuln really helps you out. So, of course, the music. Now this is map 30, isn't it? I think I referenced Evolution map 30 before when I meant to say 29. But this is 30. There's another Spider Mastermind up there. I forgot about that. Alright, so I love having the waterfall lead down into lava. I thought that was cool, so I went with that. There's a bunch of Berserk kits around here just in case you need them. You don't need to SR50 to make these, like, you know, to get from section to section, but you do need to SR40, I'm pretty sure. And so if you don't know how to SR40, I mean, it's really easy. You just move forward and side at the same time. Right, so now we're at the icon, and there's like the waterfall in the brain. So when you shoot the icon, you notice, wait, nothing's going on? Except that door on the right opens up. Okay, so what's going on? You know, just take a moment here. And, what's my... Here we go. Now, if you shoot in here, there's like a barrel pathway, right? So it blows up the barrels. And these barrels go all the way down here and activate these guys, which open up that door. So there is no Icon of Sin. So when I said earlier, I've never made a classic Icon of Sin map, it remains to be true because there's technically no Icon of Sin. I love the fake out. Whenever I watch someone stream Autophagy, that's one of my favorite parts. Just watching them shoot at the icon and then go, what? is something that I find to be amazing. So, now there is a BFG on this map. I forgot about it, but it's right here. It's a non-secret secret or a secret non-secret. I don't know which way it goes. Isn't there a blue key? Yeah, I somehow missed the blue key. But yeah, so of course there is no Icon of Sin. It's a fake out, and that's the map. And that's also Autophagy. Hopefully people enjoyed this. You know, maybe it's not the best commentary, but again, just kind of did this off the top of my head here. You go in here, you're back up here. Right. So this is another thing. If you do the secret, there is a walk once teleport line def that's still here. And I thought about fixing that in the sense that, like, if you do the secret teleporter, find a way. But then I decided, you know what? It's kind of funny that way. It's kind of funny that it just kind of fakes you out and forces you to just go back if you do the secret ahead of time. So the optimal way to do that would be to grab the invuln, then go back around, and then trigger this. But anyway, that's the WOD. Hopefully you enjoyed this commentary. I had a decent amount of fun, I gotta be honest. And if you want to see me do kind of like full wide commentaries of some of my other level sets, feel free to recommend them, or not, or say never do this again. In fact, you should delete this video if you want. If those are your beliefs, I can't really stop you. But anyway, yeah, my main goal, I guess, if I were to have a goal, is to motivate people, even if you've never recorded a speedrun before, try out Autophagy. Not all the levels have been UV maxed. You know, there's plenty of space for you to carve some out there. And it's a very easy WOD to pick up and to do some speedruns of. And that's kind of what I want people to take away from this. If there's any new speedrunners out there, or you know, non-speedrunners or old speedrunners, you know, give me a shake. Anyway, that's it.